Hello, and welcome to the Three Peak Master Leadership Experience. My name is Mino Vlachos, and I'm the co-founder of Three Peak Coaching and Solutions. Three Peak Coaching and Solutions is a leadership consultancy dedicated to elevating executive mastery. We specialize in transforming businesses through leadership and team development during transitions and times of crisis. We focus on three critical areas where chaos and conflict are most likely to appear: board, CEO, and C-suite misalignment, transitions into executive leadership, conflict between functional departments. By addressing these flashpoints, we assist you in navigating change to build unity, create certainty, and establish clear direction. Our approach empowers leaders to master complex challenges and transform their companies to thrive now and in the future. Today, I am joined by Dr. Mazen Harb, who is also one of my fellow co-founders of Three Peak Coaching and Solutions. Today's topic is about how CEOs can build confidence. And so we work with a lot of CEOs. And so Mazen and I are going to share a little bit about what it's like to kind of get into one of those roles, what it means to maybe not feel so confident, and maybe a little bit of advice of how to start building that confidence. So I'll start, Mazen. When we work with leaders, especially new CEOs, I've observed that oftentimes they might not always have the confidence in what they're doing. They're second guessing themselves, they're doubting, asking many questions, all very natural. What have you observed? What do you think is one of the things that leads to CEOs, especially maybe new CEOs, not having as much confidence as they might want?
First thing that comes to mind, probably not doing the diligent work about themselves. So not knowing what they're not good at. So the opposite. So really just be sure what you're not good at. The more you get to know what you're not good at, the more you get to know the unknown. You let go of that fear, of that nagging voice within the self, within the ego. Oh my God, what's happening? Like is it imposter syndrome? Is it this? Is it that? So because the unknown is something we don't know, so we cannot quantify it. So what happens is most of the time, there's this constant nagging, constant fear. You do not know how much things are there. But the more you start to get a little bit glimpse, you will get confident by knowing, I see, I'm not good at that. Then you delegate, you ask support, or just the sheer knowledge, conscious awareness that, oh, I see what I'm not good at, and I see what I'm good at. That will help someone to come to the table of their own confidence, self-confidence.
And in a similar way, I would say this is a big role, and there's so many skills that do need to be learned. And unless you have done it before, you won't have those skills because there's nowhere else you can really develop it. For instance, we know that it takes about 2 years for a CEO to start to intuitively feel the organization as an extension of their own body, right? So at some point, it does kind of click in, this intuition of something doesn't feel quite right. Something's not going the way I want it to. But that takes time to develop. It takes time to develop that kind of big picture thinking of like, I can actually understand how all the little pieces of this organization come together and create something that is the whole organization, to understand how the inner world and the outer world of the organization play with each other. There are skills to being able to do vision and strategy and be in front of a board. So there are so many new skills when you're a CEO. Funny enough, what we see is when CEOs repeat the job, so they go to a second company, a third company, they actually tend to become worse in their performance. So even though you might feel a confidence gap and a skill gap, one of the things that first-time CEOs have that statistically makes them better CEOs than second, third, fourth-time CEOs is they don't have a rigid model. They come in and they're basically like, I don't know what I'm doing. I got to figure it out. I have to adapt. There's no playbook. And that actually makes them very adaptive to the moment. When they go to the next company and the next company and they say, actually, I know how to do this, they tend to actually not do as well. And so a key thing I'll kind of share is maybe not having confidence in some way could be a marker of like, actually, you're ready to be in the uncertainty and you're ready to adapt.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. No. So in a way, actually, what what comes out actually, like, first not knowing knowing yourself and knowing what you're not good at. And then here again, like what you really focus on, emphasize since you're new CEO, learning the new skills. So we know it from ourselves when we created our company. We were not in all those positions and roles. And for the best gifts we got is we had to change roles and positions, and then we needed to play them out. And it was a beautiful experience. With time, we start to figure out where we're good at, and like head of sales, head of marketing. Like there are few things we're good at, like research and development, like finance. Like there's certain things we're very clear who's better in that. But the idea is really this constant learning, the constant, like not come as a CEO, say, oh, I'm a CEO, and not to be led by the ego of the title. A CEO is someone who's constantly learning. A CEO is someone who's like, oh, I have to lead, I had to be an example. That's not by knowing everything, but actually
Yeah.
by seeing every challenge and learning from it and constantly learning skills. And now, thanks to the revolution of AI, it flattened everyone's way of moving forward. So where before, like 2 3 years ago, there was this hierarchy. I'm better in opening this. I'm better in doing this. I'm better in opening that. I think we were at the end of the last era, wherever we had this very clear, crystal clear hierarchy of who's good in that, who's not. And then the revolution of AI came and then flattened everything. So in a way, to remind everyone, you are here to learn. Start learning your position. So if you come to a CEO position and saying, I did it all my life, or I whatever, or I just did it, but I'm just starting it, I'm very good in one thing, you won't survive. Learning should doesn't have an age. We can always learn. And it's not true what they say, when you age, you cannot learn anymore. The brain is adaptable, even in old age.
Yeah, what you're sharing, and I think we probably might have maybe two different angles on this. But the question I have is confidence an inside job or an outside job? So in my book, and this is where we probably have different angles on it, is I grew up with a lot of confidence issues. I had very low self-esteem. There was a lot of times I was so afraid, and I kept trying to do a lot of the inner work, therapy, and all those things helped in many other ways. But when it came specifically to confidence, the one thing that supported me was to go and have experience, to try things, fail, 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 succeed sometimes. And I have to say, for me, like something about knowing I've done something helped me feel confidence. But how do you see it, Mazen? How do you start to see kind of the task of building up some confidence in something?
In general, it's our approach. It's a big question, but really we will focus today on more the specificity that helps people in behavior, right? Or new position, new roles, or even just to understand the psychology behind it. Confidence, it's the mindset, or losing confidence, it's the mindset of how we speak to ourselves. So it's very simple as that. The amount of mind chatter we have, like the ego nagging within us. The ego, when I use the word ego, is the representative of the ID, of the identity of us. So its role is to protect us, is to present us, but it creates a very rigid identity. So I would say the more we have the chatter within us, oh, I don't look good. Oh, I'm this. Oh, look at me. Look at my body weight. Look at my hair. Look how people will see me. Being worried about the outside, being worried of, oh, I'm not able to perform. Look, the good scientific example is you see an animal that's just learning how to walk. You'll understand what confidence is. Do you see them? They're not as confident, but once they're doing it, they're 100% confident. So you're like, I don't understand. So confident isn't, there's an innate part of it because they're not thinking. When we are fully embraced, oh, you become a CEO, and then you're like, you know what? I need to do my job. I need to be here. So bringing presence, staying with the body, staying with the task. So a recommendation, a suggestion for anyone who's in a position of leading, confidence take the best out of you, or like lack of confidence takes the best out of you when you allow your mind, your worry, your fear, your doubts, once they take in, you will be possessed by your
Mm-hmm.
own ego projection, and then fear will take over and you'll question every single move, and that will take so much energy of you and so much time. But if you stay in the present, found ways of grounding, connect to this body, and second, do your task. That is today. Do your agenda as much as you can. If not, you move it to the next day. If people connect and just do diligently what they're asked to do, there's no question to be asked about so much confidence. Of course, there's still thing, oh, I have to meet someone. We train it to meet fundings, like to meet the board. Again, but once we learn it in our own, we go, oh, I have to meet the board, I'm stressed. And I'm like, but if you stay later on, you will gain experience. Stick to the body, stick to the task, not overthink, not worry as much. And then we go there, you're able to perform. So the number one killer of all performance, good performance, is the mind chatter, worry,
Mhm.
doubt, and fear.
I think that might surprise someone, right? Because we're so used to the mind chatter and we're so used to all the thoughts, and we really think that those thoughts might be helping us, or they're leading us in many ways, right? Until we bring some kind of mindfulness to, or awareness to, the thought pattern. So I just want to reemphasize that, like, many times the thinking might be getting in the way of the doing. So I can share some of my own, and I will in a second, but I want to ask a little bit of, how do we start to quiet some of those thoughts so that we can go do something, try something, have an experience. For me, for instance, I've recently gotten a lot into cycling. I've been on the bicycle, and as we're scaling our company, right, we're growing, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's a lot of doubt that can come up at times. And the last like few weeks, anytime that fear, that doubt, I just jump on the bicycle and I just go, right, for like an hour. And I just pedal, 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 pedal. And for me, it helps me where I come off the bike, I'm really not thinking. I have no emotion anymore. And I'm like, okay, what's next? What do I do next? So that's just like one small example that I'm learning myself, because I'm someone that has been plagued by a lot of self doubt. What do you kind of share, Mazen, for someone that's overthinking, or in their thoughts, or is that chatter, that's that nagging voice that's kind of in the head?
Yeah, I think you gave the best example actually. But what comes top of mind now, because I'm trying not to go deep, right? Like, not to go deep, at least not now. I would really suggest at the beginning, propose, just be aware that you are in your head. Be aware that the thoughts, that there is a repetitive, limit actually addictive thought pattern that you are on. Realize that how it is addictive thought pattern. Notice that you will be always repeating it, repeating it until something gives you completion. And even once give you completion, you start repeating, I completed it. Oh, I completed it. Remember that you were not born like that. But through upbringing, we start to create those addictive patterns to give us a sense of control. And then when we start to loop, so whenever you see yourself looping a task, well, I have to do this, I have to do. Actually, we are in an unconscious default loop that is sucking our energy and then actually bring us in a fear, and that, because it's because of fear, doubt, and worry, and that's what lacks bring confidence low. So in a way, just my suggestion is to really be aware of your addictive, unconscious thought patterns, that whenever you have something, you keep on thinking about it, but actually it never helps solve it. And that's the truth. The secret is there's no secret, because everyone have that in their mind. So when people think, oh, it's only me. No, it's not only you. That's the nature of our mind when it's fueled by worry, fear, and doubt. Once you're aware of it, then we can speak what to do. So that's why I want that. That's the big step. Once you understand there's an iceberg under the water, then we see how to go around it. But if you do not know, I won't tell you how to go around it. You don't know how big and how small it is.
So my one piece of advice for CEOs who are trying to build confidence, if I can boil it down, is there's not an infinite amount of skills and tasks that a CEO must do or learn. It's actually about five or six, and we can boil it down to five or six. And if that's interesting to you, you can reach out to us, go to our website. We can talk about the five or six key success elements of CEO performance. So there's five or six key responsibilities. Sit down, map those out, figure out what great looks like, and hopefully your board would be supporting you to actually learn what those five, six things are, and creating clear expectations and criteria. But if the board is not doing that and you're a new CEO, figure out the core 5 to 6 things that you're responsible for, understand what good looks like, what great might look like, set realistic expectations, and understand that it might take a year and a half to actually be able to be high functioning on those 5, 6 things if you've never done this before. So create a map, set expectations, and then, like we said, get out of your head, do, learn, do, learn. Mazen, what's your one piece of advice for a new CEO that's struggling with the confidence topic?
And you see, do your work. Just get some discipline. Just do your work. Do as much as you can. Everything will pays off, regardless in which direction. At least if you do it fully, you will know, I didn't succeed it, but I did everything needed. Just do your daily task. Nothing. Don't try to save the planet. Try to save your day. Do your tasks. That's your focus, fully and diligently. And you'll see the outcome.
And with that, we close this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope to see you soon.